Hello and welcome back. I found this article on the Washington Post, and I've been kind of seeing this same thing kind of floating around in different areas. It's regarding RFK Jr. I'm going to switch to the Post, read this article, and then we'll see RFK Jr.'s response. So apparently, RFK Jr.'s tried to meet up with Kamala Harris to discuss a cabinet job. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sought a meeting last week with Democratic nominee Kamala Harris to discuss the possibilities of serving in her administration, perhaps as a cabinet secretary, if he throws his support behind her campaign and she wins, according to the Kennedy campaign officials. So this is coming from his officials. Supposedly, Harris and her advisors have not responded. But
when was this?
This was done on the
published
14th.
on the 14th.
This is published on the 14th. So this, probably happened the 13th, 12th to 13th or whatever. But a couple days later or the next day, he actually responds on X, on his own
So
X.
go back, scroll to the top. So underneath the it says Harris has rebuffed the offer of an endorsement, while Kennedy also has had conversations with Republican nominee Donald Trump about the role in his administration. So before we read what he said, I don't know. I guess I'm this is the first time I've seen this. Kyle found this, so I didn't know anything about this. So I was just gonna respond by saying, okay. So it sounds to me like, if this is true, which I can't imagine that the Washington Post would report this if it wasn't true, but you never know these days. So if this is true, that means that he is not going to be running anymore.
Contemplating dropping out.
Right. And maybe like this is his way of either, I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting. I did see a video. It's been a few weeks ago where he received a call from Trump. And it may have been after the attempted assassination on Trump.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where
it was like a leaked video.
Well, it was RFK Jr.'s son actually recorded him talking to Trump.
That's right.
Afterwards. Mm-hmm. And everyone kind of thought that may have been a call where Trump's trying to get him to support him, drop out and support him. I don't think RFK...
I guess this is odd to me because I guess I have said before, like, I think that Robert F. Kennedy would be an asset to our country. I think that he would be a good candidate for a cabinet position within the Trump administration. Mm-hmm. I find it strange, though, that he would talk to Kamala Harris because of the way that the Democratic Party has treated him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of strange to me. I just find that a little bit strange, but I know that it's the whole game, it's politics and all of that. But it is a little bit strange.
It is a little strange.
But then at the same time, it's like, okay, is this his way of saying, I just want to help? Mm-hmm. I just want to be involved. I just want to help, whether it be, whomever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of, this is just all too strange and unusual, and this whole
thing is kind of funny.
It's just so weird. Like like
I said, and it was like a day or so after he actually
and then he made this post on X.
and I want to say this is on the 15th.
So the next day.
The next day he responded to this,
which I did see also on the actual website, the Washington Post website. It did say that the article was updated on the 15th. So they may have updated it since he posted this, or maybe they spoke to him.
Down at the bottom of the article, it does kind of quote him here. But it wasn't his full response. So that's why I didn't want to read that one. I wanted to switch to this one because this is the complete response. They just took one little piece, one little snippet out of it and added it to their article.
Okay.
I think that was their update.
So you want me to read this?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Sure. So RFK Jr. posted this on the 15th. I'll just go into it. VP Harris's Democratic Party would be unrecognizable to my father and uncle, and I cannot reconcile it with my values. The Democratic Party of RFK and JFK was the party of civil liberties and free speech. VP Harris's is the party of censorship, lockdowns, and medical coercion. Kennedy Democrats were anti-war. Kamala's is riddled with neocon warmongers. The RFK JFK Dems were allies of Main Street, cops, firefighters, and working people. VP Harris's is the party of big tech, big pharma, and Wall Street. My dad and uncle's party was the champion of voting rights and fair elections. Harris's is the party of lawfare, disenfranchisement, and the coronation of its candidates by corporate donors and party elites. I've used our nation's courts to prosecute corporations who hurt Black Americans. VP Harris used our nation's courts to mercilessly prosecute Black Americans and exploit them for their labor. My father and uncle prided themselves on the skills at debate and their ability to articulate a coherent vision for our country. VP Harris is scared to debate and can't survive an unscripted interview. Instead of outlining a vision, she relies on middle school tactics, memes, forged headlines, infantile slogans, and name calling. I've spent years battling government corruption and lies. VP Harris spent years gaslighting Americans about the health of our commander-in-chief. I have no plans to endorse Kamala Harris for president. I do have a plan to defeat her.
So there you go.
Well, then that completely contradicts that article.
And I wonder if it's someone from his campaign or someone just trying to cover their bases. Because when I read it, when I saw that, I found it kind of hard to believe that he would do that.
I know, that's what I mean. I can't believe that he would just because of he tried to run on the Democratic ticket, and the Democratic Party was like, no, like they completely rejected him. So I'm like, why? It just doesn't make any sense.
And I don't think he's vying for a position, that bad. He wants to be president. I don't think he's going to bow down and especially go back under the Democratic.
And I don't understand why he would do that now.
Yeah.
I mean, what on earth would he gain?
He's gone
at
too
this
far.
Point? Yeah. But I'm like, why would you do it now? Why wouldn't you wait until after the election? Because what is that gonna really do for you? It doesn't, as far as timing, it doesn't make sense because there's always a chance. I mean, you just never know.
Yep. Yeah, there's always a chance.
But what's really wild about it is that it's just crazy. Sorry, I'm like reacting to this because I didn't know any of this. I just read it for the first time.
Well, and he's still actively, trying to get on the ticket in different states. Yeah, I seen a post by him. I think today.
He's been having a really hard time.
Yeah, he's fighting hard to try to at least get on the ticket. And he's not on every ballot in every state yet. So that's gonna make it even harder. But he's still out there trying.
This whole thing is just so crazy. Mm-hmm. It really is.
But I just thought this was kind of weird. I didn't believe it. I don't know.
I wonder if anyone else is talking about it.
Yeah, I've seen some people talking about it, and most people kind of, feel the same way we do, that didn't believe it. Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense.
Didn't believe it to be true. Yeah.
I just don't see how this would benefit him at all. I don't see how this would. If anything, I don't think it would shine him in a bad light.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that they would publish an article like that if it weren't like. But I don't know. Nowadays, it's hard to find the truth anymore. People will just publish anything.
It's very hard to trust any media outlet these days.
It really is, which is such a shame. But
you got to look at who's running them, who's funding them. Are they being paid to say one thing?
I think too, it's just that people lie. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, that might seem like a very people lie. Yeah, people lie. No, like people you wouldn't think. It's their job to be transparent because they're a public servant. Mm-hmm. And so, if someone came to the press and gave them some information and they were from a reliable source,
Yeah.
you would expect that to be the truth. And you just can't anymore. So it just makes journalism harder for people.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you don't know where this is coming from. It could be someone, just trying to undermine his campaign.
But if they're still going after them, then
And trying to make
there must be a reason.
Trying to make Harris look more like she's going to win than what she may be.
Well, no, that's actually a really good point. Because I do believe that RFK Jr. has a following, and so if they put this out there that RFK Jr. supports Harris,
Yeah.
oh okay,
Yeah.
well he's endorsing her, so I guess she's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I do think that there's a lot going on within the Democratic Party.
There's a lot of manipulation going on in the media. Zuckerberg admitted that he spent $400 million.
On the Biden campaign.
Yeah, helping trying to help Biden win. Censoring information on Facebook and his other, all of his platforms.
And then I'm like, okay, so what are they going to do about it? What's
Nothing.
his? There's just no consequences. It's anyway, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
God help us.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for this one. I just found that article and wanted to do a little video on it. Like I said,
because
it's
how many
kinda
people
going
read that
around.
article and don't have an X account?
Yep.
And that's another thing too. Like, not a lot of people are on X,
Yep.
formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah,
and that's like the only free speech outlet, as far as social
Yep.
media right now. And a lot of people don't. So it just kind of makes you wonder what people are seeing and what they're believing. If they read that article and they're like, oh my gosh, and they might believe it's true. And then they don't follow him on here. They may never have even seen this. So
I heard this and I was like, I'm going to check on it. I Googled it. When I Googled it, there was like 4 or 5 different articles from, supposedly reputable news organizations reporting the same thing. I just picked one of the first ones and,
Okay.
but it's going around. There's a lot of people talking about it. So I don't know. I don't believe it.
I'm sure that if it becomes something, then he will probably do a press conference and it'll be on the news.
I definitely could see him joining the Trump administration, not Kamala's.
Right.
But anyway, like I said, this is going to be it for this one. We appreciate you watching and all. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, share our content with your friends, help us grow. And I guess until the next time, we'll see y'all.
Thank you.